जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna and welcome back. Thank you for joining. Today we are discussing verse number 56 of chapter number 2 from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And in verse number 54, Arjuna asks a series of questions. So he is asking question regarding Sthitarprajna. And the first question is asking is what are the symptoms? So symptoms over here he meant how does he reveal his position? And then the second question was how does the Sthitarprajna speak, or what is his language? That means that how does he react to the actions of the others? And then he asked the next question is how does the Sthitarprajna sit? So mentality, when senses are withdrawn from the sense object, what is or how is he situated then? And then the last one was how does he walk, or how does the Sthitarprajna engage his senses? So in verse number 55, Krishna immediately answers the question, what about the symptoms of a Sthitarprajna, or how does he reveal his position? So that has been answered over here by Krishna as, when a man gives all varieties of desires for sense gratification, which arises from mental concoctions. So whatever sense gratification that arises from mind, and when the man gives that up, and then what he does, and when his mind is thus purified. So when the sense desire for sense gratification which arise from mental concoctions are given up, at that time the mind is purified. So, and when the mind thus purified finds satisfaction in self alone, then that person is considered to be a Sthitarprajna. Sthitarprajna sa uchyate. And in the next verse, the second question will be, in next two verses actually, the second question will be answered, that how does he speak, what is the language. That is answered in verse 56 and 57. So this means that how does he reacts to the actions of others. So let's read verse number 56. So the verse Sanskrit goes as chapter 2 verse 56. Dukheshva anudvigva manaha sukheshu vigata spraha vita raga bhaya krodha sthitadir munir uchyate. So as we discussed earlier that Krishna is calling this person Sthitarprajna, one who is fixed intelligence, by different names. So here in this verse Krishna calls the person as Sthitadhir Munir. Earlier he called as Sthitarprajna. So he's the same person, but having different characteristics of the same persons are described by giving these different names. So Prabhupada translates as one who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear and anger, is called as a stage of steady mind. So here we see in this picture, he is not disturbed in the mind amidst the threefold miseries. So tapatraya, the threefold miseries, is miseries caused by other living entities, miseries caused by my own body and mind, and miseries caused by the devatas. So when this kind of miseries attack us, at that time, this person is not dejected. And when there is happiness, that person is not elated. And he is also free from attachment, fear and anger. This is a person who is a Sthitadhir Munir. So let's read the Sanskrit words and try to understand. So first line is Dukheshu anudvigna manaha. So anudvigna manaha, udvigna means agitated. So when there is misery, so dukheshu, when there is a dukha or misery, he doesn't get dejected, or he doesn't get agitated. And the second line is Sukheshu vigataha spraha. So in happiness, Even there is happiness, one doesn't get more desires. So let me have more and more. So this is not his desire when he encounters happiness in life. So in this verse, there is an indication that, or indication given by Krishna, that sukha and dukkha, these are the two things. These are the part of the material world, and you cannot get rid of it. Everybody will have to encounter sukha and dukkha. So generally when we get sukha, we desire more of it. As for example, we acquire wealth, and then wealth and other things like. So what happens is we want more and more wealth. If you have $100,000, we want $200,000. When we get 200,000, we meant 400,000. So in the name of progress, actually it is our desire to get more and more happiness. And generally we equate happiness with wealth. But when we get dukkha or misery, we are dejected or we are agitated. So now this verse is talking about speech. So what is the reference to speech? So that speech is actually determined by our thoughts. And Krishna will answer this speech in the next verse. However, here the Stitadir Muni is not just superficially changing his speech or thoughts. He is speaking, say a lot of times, we'll see people are speaking in a very sweet and polite way, but internally they feel otherwise. So some people are frustrated. We'll see, in the scenario where people are working, so they are very frustrated with their bosses. So what they do is they keep some punching bags at home, and they cannot speak anything in front of their bosses. They have to be polite and speak softly in front of their bosses. But what they do, when they come home, they take out all the frustrations on that punching bag when they come home at the evening. So this is duplicity. So internally we may think that internally we may think one way about the person, but externally we behave in a very polite manner. So this is very common in our material dealings. So Stitadir Muni, what Krishna is describing over here, is not that kind of person. He is not a duplicit. So Krishna over here telling the mentality of this person. What is the mentality? So actually when the distress comes in life, one is not distressed or agitated by that circumstances. For this transcendentalist, the mind is not disturbed internally, and external manifestations are also not shown. So internal and external manifestation both are same. The third line is talking about Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha. So this particular line, Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha, is Krishna again speaks about this in chapter 4, verse number 10, in line number 8, first line of that verse. Chapter 4, verse number 10. He repeats this. So the Stitadir Munir is free from the attachment. Rita Raga Bhaya Krodha is free from Raga. Raga means attachment, Bhaya means fear, and Krodha means anger. So let's see what Srila Prabhupada is talking about, and I forgot about the last line. So these are the characteristics of Stitadir Muni Ruchyate. So Krishna is saying this is how a Stitadir Munir acts, or these are the characteristics of a Stitadir Munir. So let's see what Srila Prabhupada is trying to explain in the purport. So in the purport, the first thing Srila Prabhupada talks about is who is a Muni. So the word Muni means one who can agitate his mind in various ways for mental speculation without coming to a factual conclusion. So a Muni is a mental speculator who can speculate on things which he sees, or the events that happen in this world. He notices that, and then he can speculate on various different ways. Or this has happened because of this, or it may happen because of this. So he tries to find out various causes for that event. So when we can observe event and try to infer the cause, but it is very difficult to find the actual cause of that event, because there are so many factors due to which the event may have occurred. So Muni is a person who tries to speculate in various different ways. And also the Munis, they always differ from each other. So that is the next line. It is said that every Muni has a different angle of vision. And unless a Muni differs from another Muni, he cannot be called as a Muni. So these are like, in current day world, we can call them as scientists. So scientists, as we see, they differ with, they present a theory, and based on the speculation or their study, and then another scientist gives another theory. So Munis over here, they used to be, in the olden times, they used to be Munis who used to do the same thing. He cannot be called a Muni in a strict sense of that term. So if he cannot differ, then he cannot be called as a Muni. So in Mahabharata Varna Paramana, this verse comes like Nasav Resir Yasya Matanna Bhinnam. So Muni is not called a Muni when he does not differ from the point of view from another Muni. So that is what the definition of a Muni given over here by Srila Prabhupada. Now, the Sthitadhir Muni is a different kind of Muni. He is not same as this Muni who is a mental speculator. So who is a Sthitadhir Muni? But a Sthitadhir Muni, as mentioned herein by the Lord, is different from the ordinary Muni. The Sthitadhir Muni is always in Krishna consciousness, for he has exhausted all his business of creative speculations. So the Sthitadhir Muni doesn't go into speculation. He is a person who has gone beyond such speculation, and he has come to a conclusion. Right? So he has gone by the speculation and come to a conclusion, and that conclusion is what is being explained over here by Srila Prabhupada. He is called Prasanta Nishesha Manorathantara. This is a line taken from Stotraratra, verse number 43. So Stotraratra is a nice poem which is written by Yamunacharya. And that particular poem, one part of that poem, like verse number 43, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning over here. So what does this verse number 43 says? So this is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, 8th chapter and 73rd verse. So Bhavantaran eva nucharam nirantaraha prasanta nishesha manorathantaram kadaham ekantika nitya kinkara praharsa seyami sa natha jivitam. So the meaning of this verse is, by serving you constantly, by serving the Lord constantly, what happens? One is freed from all material desires and is completely pacified. So generally, in this material world, what happens is we seek for many things, thinking that this kind of things are going to make me happy, the other thing will make me happy. So we keep on looking for happiness by seeking the material things or material objects, and we try one material object, doesn't give us happy, then we try another one that doesn't give me happiness, and then we keep on doing this eternally, and we are completely not pacified. But when a devotee understands that if I have my relation with Krishna, that itself is the source of supreme happiness, then we don't need anything else. So this is the key. The only thing I need is to understand that how wonderful is Krishna and how fortunate I am to have a relationship with Krishna. So this is how a devotee thinks. He is not looking for, or is not seeking for any material happiness. He is trying to seek happiness by having a relationship with Krishna. So he has to understand Krishna first, that how wonderful is Krishna. And then how fortunate am I to have a relation with Krishna? So with this kind of relationship itself, the devotee is completely pacified. So this is what is said here. By serving you constantly, one is freed from all material desire and is completely pacified, is completely happy with that relationship. And then he's saying, when shall I engage as your permanent eternal servant and always feel joyful to have such a perfect master? So when we understand, how who Krishna is, how he deals with his devotee, how loving he is, how merciful he is, how tolerant he is, how patient he is, when we understand this and what a perfect master he is, then we are eager to form that relationship. And then when we have that relationship, we are completely pacified. So though we don't need any kind of material happiness. So this is a very nice verse which is sung by the great devotee. His name is Yamunacharya. So Yamunacharya is the spiritual master of Ramanujacharya. So in this Stotra, verse number 43, this prayer comes. So Prabhupada is mentioning this prayer over here from Stotra. He said, or one who surpasses the stage of mental speculation has come to a conclusion that Lord Sri Krishna or Vasudeva is everything. And this Krishna is mentioning in Bhagavad Gita in 7th chapter. Vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. Right? So after many life, one soul comes to that understanding. After going through many birth and death, a soul comes to Jnani actually comes to an understanding that Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. This is the Sthitadhir Muni. So he is called as Muni, fixed in his mind. So such kind of Muni is a Sthitadhir Muni. So then here we are talking about that who is that Sthitadhir Muni. So he has gone beyond the conclusion, all this mental speculation. And he has come to a conclusion that Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. What are the characteristics of such Muni? So Prabhupada says, such a fully Krishna conscious person is not at all disturbed by the onslaughts of the threefold miseries, for he accepts all misery as the mercy of the Lord. So this first line of this verse, Dukkeshu Anudigna Manaha, this is being explained here now. That how he deals with Dukkeshu. When the Dukkeshu comes in life, how this Sthitadhir Muni handles that. So when a person or a devotee becomes fixed in Krishna or Krishna consciousness and he thinks that Krishna is my everything, then mind doesn't wander here and there for that person. And even if this dukkha comes in life, the troubles when they come in their life, generally, we assume that this troubles which are coming, actually I don't deserve it. So this is our general assumption. That dukkha which we are getting, I don't deserve it. Then, we should ask this question, and if we try to objectively analyze, then we see that actually there are sometimes sukha coming in our life and we don't deserve it. So this luck and destiny, whatever we may call, it actually works both ways. So dukkha is going to come. So what a devotee thinks when the dukkha comes is, he is not disturbed by the threefold miseries that is coming into his life. And he is thinking that these threefold miseries, all these miseries are actually mercy of the Lord. Thinking himself only worthy of more troubles due to his past misdeeds. And he sees that all his miseries are by the grace of the Lord and are minimized to the lowest. So he sees, this is actually a very important subject, and it is discussed in Canto 10, Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 10, verse number 14, chapter number 14, verse number 8. So this is a very nice Tatteno Kampa Susumekshamano. So this is a thought process of the devotees. When the devotees encounter any kind of dukkha or disturbance or miseries in the life, then they see that this is actually the Lord is merciful on me, and actually first of all, it is happening because of my own karma, but the Lord is merciful upon me and He is giving me a token of that karma. I should have been suffering more, but Lord is only giving a token, and actually that is a fact. That is a fact that when we become devotee, then we don't experience the full reaction. We just receive a token reaction. Krishna says that actually. And that is how the devotee is able to tolerate whatever dukkha that is coming. Similarly, when he is happy, he gives credit to the Lord, thinking himself unworthy of the happiness. And he realizes that it is due only to the Lord's grace that he is in such a comfortable condition and able to render better service to the Lord. So when there is sukha, he attributes to the Lord and gives credits to the Lord. That Lord is actually, I am unworthy of this, but Lord, by Lord's grace, He is giving me comfortable situation so that I can perform better service. I can engage more in the service. And for the service of the Lord is always daring and active and not influenced by attachment and aversion. So when this comes to the service of the Lord, he is completely fearless, right? And how does one can become fearless? So sometimes we are foolish and we can say, oh, I'm not fearful. But generally that fear factor is always there in everybody. But the way to get over the fearfulness is we have to be aware that when Krishna is with me, any problem or any kind of misery is very minuscule or very tiny in front of Krishna, because Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So all problems are very, very tiny in front of Him. So when we understand that, and then we have taken shelter of the Lord, then we become completely free from fear. Like a child is completely free from fear because he knows that my parents are going to protect me. So child doesn't have fear. He is fearless. His fearless is depending upon his parents, because his parents are there and his parents are going to protect him. So that is the way to overcome fear. So the devotees are very daring for the service of the Lord, not generally. Otherwise, they will not be daring for their self, but for serving the Lord, they can go up to any extent. Like for example, Hanumanji, he crossed the ocean and he went to Lanka just to serve the Lord. For his purpose, he would have not gone. But for the service of the Lord, he was daring and he was active. He was not docile. He was acting to serve. He was doing some service for the Lord. So let's read the next part. So this is the flow chart form of whatever has been discussed earlier. So what is attachment and what is detachment? So because here attachment and aversion are talked about, so what is attachment and what is detachment? Attachment means accepting things for one's own sense gratification, and detachment is the absence of such sensual attachment. So this is the definition, very nice and concise definition, where we are trying to accept things for our own sense gratification, that is attachment, and when we are giving that up, that is detachment. But one fixed in Krishna consciousness has neither attachment nor detachment, because his life is dedicated in the service of the Lord. So this is a key, that the person fixed in Krishna consciousness is neither attached or detached. His only concern is serving the Lord. That's his only concern. So he is not attached or detached. He is using everything in service of the Lord. Whatever the Lord provides, he uses that in the service of the Lord, not for his own sense gratification. That is the characteristics of such person. What is the result of acting in this way? Acting in either a attached or detached way. What is the result? consequently he is not at all angry even when attempts are unsuccessful. So angry over here is more in terms of frustration. He doesn't get frustrated. So when the anger, we internalize it, it becomes like resentment or hatred, and it comes out in a very ugly way. But the externally, when we are showing anger, then we are either shouting or yelling, those kind of all kind of tantrums of angers which are manifested. So this is about the anger, but over here it is more about frustration, angry in terms of frustration. So consequently he is not at all angry or frustrated even when his attempts are unsuccessful. So as we studied in 2.47, where Krishna is saying karmani eva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachanam, you should be, your adhikar is to be working or doing your karma, and you should not be attached to the result. It's not that you should not care about the result or you should not be concerned about the result. Definitely we want the result, but you should not be attached to the result. So when the result comes, or when the attempts are unsuccessful, the result doesn't come, at that time the person is not frustrated, because he is connected with the Lord, and he says, I did my best, the result comes or not, doesn't matter, I did my best. So success or no success, a Krishna conscious person is always steady in his determination. So this is very important, because whether you get success or not, it doesn't matter. So that verse 2.47 is talking about the same thing. You should not be attached to the result. You should not think that you are the cause of the result. Because of us the result came. We should be determined on one thing, that is performing our action sincerely, with full dedication and full determination. So whether we get success or no success, doesn't matter. A Krishna conscious person is always steady in his determination to act. His determination is, I must act, I give my 100% to make it successful. But if there is a defeat or if there is a failure, I will not get agitated. And then, I will, work and continue to work, whether it is successful or failure. And continue to work to do what? To actually please Krishna. Continue to work to please Krishna. Nothing else. Nothing else I want from my work. So this is how the mentality of the Sthita Dhir Muni is. So whatever has been discussed here is in this presentation format for you to study, and then this is the end of this particular discussion, and we'll continue with the next verse in the next session. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Bol.